Hi, my name is Yolanda Castillo, and this is my presentation for my Tears of Teaching and Learning class. Um, and for my math, I picked pre-testing. Now, according to Carrie on the book How We Learn, the word test has a really negative connotation, not just with the students, but also with us teachers or professors. And I can agree with that because every single time we mention a test or something related to that to the students, they kind of get freaked out. Now, in an article that I found, the article's name is Improving Students' Learning, suggests that we don't really know the effective learning techniques, or sometimes we don't really have the time to spend in class because maybe our curriculum is so full and we want to get to the point of that we cover everything in class. So now, another thing we need to do is we need to stop telling our students to study, because just because they're study, that doesn't mean they're really learning the concept or the stuff behind or all the curriculum that we are teaching them, right? So we want to be careful with that. Now, instead, we want to introduce the pre-testing. And what are the benefits of pre-testing? Now, let me tell you something. Pre-testing actually is a permutation from the testing effect. And what that's going to be doing for us as teachers, but the more positive impact will be in our students. So let me go through some of the important points that we can have with the pre-testing or the practice test before the actual test itself. Now, one of the benefits is called desirable difficulty. What that means is that when we're trying to retrieve that memory that we have in our, in our brain, I can kind of say that. The more difficult the access to that memory, the better it's going to be for us, because we're going to try to remember that information and it's actually going to stick with us. So pre-testing is not actually bad for our students. Now, another benefit is called fluency illusion. Now, if we study, we can assume that we know the information, but it's not always true. How many times have we studied the material for hours, days, months, or even that same day before the test, and we go to the test and we blank out because we actually haven't really learned the material. We just kind of brush through it. So we have to be careful with that. Not tell our students just because you study, you're supposed to know the material, right? So we have to be careful with that. Now, another benefit is called simply memorization. So what that does is you're taking your pretest, and after you take your pretest, you're guessing the answers, but after that we kind of give the feedback to the students. We want to prompt feedback with the students, telling them what is the correct answer. And what that does is your students are going to look at the answers in a different way. They're not just going to look at all of the choices. They're kind of trying to memorize that answer particularly. And that's going to help them to keep the information longer. So whenever they take the actual test, they're going to keep that information, and the benefits for them is that they're going to get higher grades on that test. Now, what we can think of more positive ways of pre-testing is for the students is kind of a glimpse of the teacher's hands. How hard is going to be the test, what is it going to be in the text exactly. All those benefit for our students and for improving their memorization as well, not just because of a good grade. Pre-testing also promotes effective subsequent studying, because once we know we memorize that, we kind of, use that retrieving factor. We know all that information is already on our brain, and we can access at any time. Now, the really positive thing that I found in this is that it minimized the fluency trap of bad test taking. So not because I score bad, that means I'm a bad test taker. We have to be able to put all these benefits into that pre-testing myth, I guess you can call it. Now, in my own experience, let me tell you a little bit. What I do when I do pre-test is I do in groups. I want to make sure all my good students know their concept, but they can also be able to help the other students that don't feel so confident about the test itself. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.